everyone, and thank you for tuning into Moose Motion Live, where during this stream today, I'll be sculpting away at Legendary Godzilla today, where I'll be staying live till I'm finished this monster, you could say. So, we're switching views here. Hopefully this is a little bit better for future viewers, essentially is kind of the idea. So, yeah, apologize if I look a little tired, or if I'm a little slower in the chat than usual. It's been a long week, to say the very least. So, yeah, this monster has been very tough to say, yeah. A lot of work, but it will not win. I will be here to defeat it. So, at any rate, I will set things up, but before I get too carried away with this stream today, I should probably mention that, well, the live stream music you hear in the background essentially is all royalty-free, and if you're curious about actually, well, the artists, the links are in the post description, and it's all provided by Audio Library. So, now let's get the camera set up so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Hello, Playmationzilla, thanks for joining in. Glad to see you here. Going live a lot lately, it's been honestly quite a lot of fun, but kind of a good way to kind of interact with you guys. And hey, Kingzilla, thanks for tuning in, because this stuff does take a painstaking amount of time, and I think it's a good opportunity for you guys to actually finish that monster. Thanks, Artlike. Hey, I'm glad to see you actually tuned in today. And I hope we gained a couple subscribers from that last live stream that I gave you a shout on. If not, you guys better go subscribe to him, because he makes some pretty cool dinosaurs or monsters. And they're actually all original, so I give him a lot of credit for that stuff. It's honestly really cool and very underrated. But before I get too carried away with saying hi to everybody in the stream, I'll adjust the camera just a little bit more so you guys can see. I only have a little bit of filming that I'm going to be actually doing today, so a vast majority of what will be taking place will just be live streaming. So essentially what I'm going to do is pick a monster's nose, probably to start off with, as awkward as that sounds, but it's a necessary evil. No problem, Art. Like, I hope it helps out, yeah, because, yeah, I'm a huge fan of his stuff. He's pretty popular on Instagram, so he also is on there if you guys want to go check him out as well, so, yeah. I do also have an Instagram. It's nowhere near as popular, but yeah, we're gonna make do with what I can do. At least YouTube is personally my favorite platform, so we'll be a lot more active on here now that I actually have proper devices. There's a computer in the background, so I can see the guys' chat, although I'm actually able to see it through in this panoramic view. And yeah, so cool. I guess I got some sculpting to do. What is left to finish on the project? There isn't too much left. I basically got to pick his nose, so we're gonna finish off sculpting that, obviously. First, my tablet's way over there. Bear with me. I'll be right back. And then, apart from, yeah, I still haven't set up a proper live stream music thing. I don't know what my tablet's doing, unfortunately. I saved the music, but I don't know where it's going on the thing. Wish I was more technologically inclined, but unfortunately I'm not. But we'll get there. So I may or may not have to make the odd commercial break skip, which is really weird, but yeah, I apologize. We're live and learn. But what's left is basically just a bunch of little details, mainly the nose and a couple lines on the face. I also have a little bit of painting to do on the eyes. Luckily, most of that was done and was successful, because usually that's one of the more stressful parts about these characters, because if you screw up that, then it's going to be like, and nobody wants that, right? We don't need a googly eyed Godzilla. As funny as that would be, I don't think it's appropriate. Thanks, man. I'm glad you really like this one. Yeah, I think he's probably one of the more accurate Godzillas that I've made so far, to be quite honest. -1 is obviously really close too, but yeah, I definitely took a little bit longer with this one, but I think it was well worth it in the end. And he's definitely the biggest Godzilla. I didn't plan on having him this big, in all honesty, but I think it turned out for the better. So, yeah, you can tell how much of a Godzilla dork I am. There's even Gojira's technically the background on my cell phone too. So, little caffeine boost, and then we'll get sculpting here. I'll probably end up using a bit of rubber sculpting tools to begin with. Although I might also just kind of get some of the painting out of the way, because I hate watching paint dry, so. Excuse me, guys, but yeah, caffeine is a must. It's pretty much my life source at this point. Yeah, tired. Anyway, you guys have something to say? I actually have my mouse set up here too. I'm coming far more prepared. Awesome, thanks, Kingzilla. I appreciate if you like the project, because yeah, he's been a lot of work, to say the very least. this. Okay, well, that was announced on a couple live streams ago, but I'll announce it again. Breaking the point system. I apologize. I know I'm kind of going against that a few times at this point. We'll probably give you a leader update, what will be next as far as leaderboard goes later on. But what I'm going to be doing next is a Shimu, because I was going through my plasticine clay inventory, and I have pounds and pounds of plasticine, like white plasticine, that I just do not know what to do with. Where's the dog? Holly's here. Who's just kind of chilling out in my bedroom. If you guys want, I can bring her out later on, but she's kind of old, and usually she ends up kind of getting lost and wanders around sometimes, so I usually just try to keep her in there so she can't really get herself into trouble, unfortunately. However, the kitties are free range, so Mr. Mitz might be joining us at some point, as well as Miss Kitty or Vindy. I have a small petting zoo, can you tell? We'll make some adjustments here, and time to start sculpting. Gotta make sure I don't smash -1 into one of Kingador's 3 faces. Unfortunately, Kevin has been getting abused lately. He's been kind of getting poked in the face a lot, so... Oops. My bad. Alright. So first order of business here, we'll be working on the nose, and speaking of which, it's kind of have to come out, unfortunately. My apologies. I live in Canada. It's not warm here. It's been minus like 25, minus 30 almost all week, unfortunately. But luckily, there hasn't been any heavy snowstorms, because I do not enjoy taking my car out of a ditch, or not a ditch, but a snowbank, essentially, which happened to be my driveway. I think we got like, where do I put this in? At least 1.5 foot almost this week, if not more. It was quite a lot, so not fun. I'm going to look up a quick source image here too. Luckily, I have a few of those saved, but that's an important thing to do, and generally I have a bad habit of sometimes going off memory more than I should with these things, mainly because I have a bad habit of kind of fail-safing through a lot of dinosaur biology, for lack of a better term. The first couple I made was a big mistake, because, yeah. I basically gave it a T-Rex skull, and I had to do a lot of shading on the nose, and that was not fun, because I was really in the process on top of it all, so it's like, oh no. Oh, Pacific Rim. Those have been actually commented a couple times. I know Claymationzilla has mentioned a couple. He's actually got some pretty cool ones. He is also on Instagram art like. I would suggest you go check his stuff out. You would probably like it. It's a lot of Godzilla stuff, but he also has a Pacific Rim monster on there too. I think it's the Axe one, but I'm not as familiar with that franchise as I am obviously Godzilla's and Jurassic Park and all that other fantastic stuff. Nerdtastic things. Hi, my name is Evan, and I like to make stop-motion nerdy things. Probably should have said that in the intro, but oh well. Whatever. Alright. Unfortunately, my monster collection is getting so vast that I'm running out of space. So at some point here, I'm going to be probably doing a studio upgrade, at the very least, so my house will be completely taken over by stop motion, but I'm totally okay with that. I need more shelving soon. I don't know if you guys can see up there. Got Scrat, couple Jack Skellingtons, a Toothless. He's one of my very first characters, actually, and I should probably return him to his rightful owner at some point. He's been on my restoration list, but I would kind of like to have my own Toothless, or make the female version. Kaiju Studios. Thanks for joining in, man. What else did you say here? Did you ever Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's one thing I definitely want to see out of you guys, is a little bit more reaction out of the community, because let's face it, we're all dinosaur monster loving nerds here, so yeah, so let's help support each other. It's a lot of fun, so it's definitely a very interesting take to see what a lot of different people like to do, especially with Godzilla. I've noticed there's definitely a lot of interesting fan art there when it comes to this character in particular. Very, very cool. A lot of drawing. I seem to be one of the few sculptors that like hops on the Godzilla trend right away. I know one person in particular, when they saw I was making -1 within the next day of the trailer being released, someone was like, I can't believe someone's already making this. I'm like, oh, can you blame me? That was too cool. Way too cool. We'll make a few minor adjustments here. Nothing major though. I've gotten a lot better. Luckily it's nowhere near as awkward as it used to be. I would have to hold my cell phone, then put it in the tripod. Now it's a lot better. This is probably way smoother. Not much of a roller coaster for you guys. And this time, I can guarantee my cell phone's not going to fall out. Had a couple rough fights here, unfortunately. We're getting there. A little bit closer. Still like to be able to kind of see what you guys are doing on your cell phone. It's a lot easier for us. I apologize if you guys see the back of my head. That means I'm just reading. Thanks, Kaiju Studios. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed the content. This stuff's a lot of work, but definitely worth it all in the end. So I appreciate all of your guys' support. So obviously, if you enjoy the content, be sure to smash that like button. So far, we don't have too many likes, so let's boost that up a little bit so we can reach a few more people tonight, hopefully. So that way, more people will actually see the end result. Although that being said, part 3 should be out tomorrow, where you'll get a bunch of glamour shots. So you'll get to see him rampaging, and possibly, I'm thinking about sacrificing myself a little bit and jumping into some snowbanks, because we all know how the first trailer went. If you haven't seen that yet, I definitely recommend you go check that out, because we're kind of late on the party. I think most of the people here are well aware of who that is. That's pretty gory. Sorry, guys. Trying to make lighting adjustments for both live streaming and filming is not exactly an easy task, unfortunately. I need more lights. Another investment I'm going to make soon. Although, I'll be honest, I've needed a set of lights for just the studio, and then I would like to set for mainly stop motion purposes, because it's a pain in the butt trying to have to set up absolutely everything in the studio again after doing a stop motion film, because I have to drag everything around constantly. It's kind of annoying, but work with what you got. I want to see him fight Shimu. Oh yeah, that would be really cool. Obviously, we're going to have to wait a little bit on that. Chances are we're going to get a Godzilla showdown before that, although I also mentioned I would probably do a dinosaur fight before then, but yeah, I don't know. I think Godzilla fights are probably a lot more high priority. You can barely hear me. Really? Okay. That's strange. I don't know what's going on with the microphone. Probably turn the music down in the background too, that might help a little bit. The cell phone is really old, so I'm kind of surprised I'm having mic issues. I have to switch to the laptop again at some point. And I use the big one, although people have a tendency to not like that microphone as much, I noticed. So yeah, apologize if I'm kind of snooping around the phone. Possibly, possibly Gigan Man. Thanks for joining in. Hopefully the microphone quality is okay. Apparently it sounds a little funny, but yeah, thanks for tuning in. We're going to try and finish this guy. You have your volume up? Okay. I don't know if that's helping. Probably not. Because probably just a bunch of clicking noises from my fingers. Bear with me. We're apparently experiencing some technical difficulties. My volume's all the way up on this. know if there's any adjustments I can really make at this point, guys. I'm sorry if it's kind of bad. See if I'm moving just a little bit closer to my face, but I don't want to bump it the entire time either. So we'll make do. I apologize if it's bad, but I'll get an adapter for this phone at some point. Oh, okay. Okay, it's perfect. Okay. You had me worried there. I was like, oh no, I don't really want to get that adapter piece just yet, because iPhone products are disgustingly expensive. Apologize for the iPhone fans out there, but I don't know how you do it. I just couldn't justify it anymore personally. And to help put this into perspective, the microphone that I have in the background there that I'm not using for this cell phone, unfortunately, the adapter piece for this phone, it was like $40 Canadian. The one for the iPhone was like $90. I was like, what? Ugh. I mean, it's not really that much of a problem, but at the same time, too, it's literally the price is expensive. For what purpose? Other than the fact that it has an Apple logo on it? No, thank you. No. Sorry, Apple. So, not sponsored, so I can say whatever I want. Okay. So, I basically have one scene that I'm going to kind of work on here. Tom 2021, thanks for joining in, man. Nice to see you. I know you were joining in last time, too, so. We're going to try and finish this Godzilla today. I'm not going to stop the stream until we're finished. I've been kind of ranting on a little bit longer than I should, but it's kind of nice to interact with you guys, so. My fellow monster-loving nerds. Hopefully you guys aren't offended by that. I wear my nerd badge with honor at this point. Okay. So what I'm going to do is pick a monster's nose for all of you. What that basically entitles is I'm basically going to use a rubber sculpting tool here and just blend in all these like really thin strips of clay. Essentially you can see all those little thin strips. They're basically like little snakes that just have to be kind of blended in using this little rubber tool. I prefer this one. You guys are a little bit better or happier. I know my DJ from time to time. Lazy Man! Nice to see you. Don't know if I'm saying your name right. Hopefully I am. I do apologize if I butcher anyone's name profusely, because I'll admit I do have dyslexia, so I do have a learning disability, so it's not entirely my fault. So, my bad. Can't help it. Right choice. Okay. So now it's time to blend things in. And I put this little remote thing, and I use it with my lip because I don't want to have to edit my hands coming in and out. So I apologize for sounding a little awkward. There. That's all the footage you guys get. Now let's see how long it actually takes in reality. Yeah, probably 3 times as long. Only 6 seconds. Which will be sped up to be only 3 seconds worth of footage. Alright. Oh yes, I am definitely excited for the movie. I can't believe it's this month already. I'm like, wow, that was really fast. I don't know where the time went. Hopefully I get to see it a lot sooner than I did -1. Took me a little bit of time there, unfortunately, to kind of see that, but it was definitely well worth it. Kind of curious, have you seen -1 yet there, Art Like? Film's been doing really well for far as critics and stuff like that, seems to be the one that everyone can kind of agree on. I'll admit, I personally wasn't too happy with the ending, but I've seen far worse. Damn it. I don't know what's going on here. That's weird. Let's just try this method. Comes in and out, okay. I'm just gonna unplug the microphone. Hopefully that's better. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, that's strange. I don't know why it's doing that. Other than this device might be a little old. Okay, yeah. Not terrible. More comfortable this way, personally. I don't have to wear the headset, but... Stupid cell phone. Damn it, Apple. I'm not exactly winning any rewards with me at this point either. Stay. Not sure if you're still there, but yeah, let me know if the audio is a little bit better, or if it's there at all. It should be just running off the cell phone at this point. But as things progress, I might as well continue with work here. Check you guys on a bit. Don't know if I should be giving detailed description as to what I'm doing, but I'll take it. Yeah, blending in nose bits. There seems to be like a little stone in here, so we're just going to lightly remove that. We do not want any hard edges. Part of my reach. You just dried up piece of modeling rules where you end up. Probably won't be the first time or last time I end up eating or drinking clay if that happened, oh well. Usually I like to try and keep that stuff in my room. I definitely don't suggest really spreading that stuff around because it can be kind of messy. I end up having to sometimes use a paint scraper to clean my floor off in the art studio. Keep your clay in trays. Although I have a giant art cart that's actually just full of it, so... So, important for these parts, I don't want to get rid of necessarily the bump that's there. I just want to blend it in. So you don't want to be too aggressive. Essentially what I'm doing is just getting rid of the very, very, very fine lines. Not sure if I should have, maybe with you guys just a bit closer. Basically, what you want to do is just very, very lightly. I'm not sure if that's in focus or not, or if I can get it. Just very, very lightly. Oh, Epic Tiger HD. Oh, man, I haven't seen that name for a long time. Nice to see you, buddy. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Apparently we've been having some microphone problems, so right now I'm just kind of using the cell phone mics, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But we apparently seem to be suffering from some technical difficulties. At the moment, I'm just picking Godzilla's nose, or very lightly massaging it, I guess technically would be a better terminology, but... Just getting rid of all the hard lines, and then once those are done, I'm going to remove the tool marks, essentially. Apologize, I'm trying to stay focused. And I'm really tired today, as I keep sipping my coffee. So what I'm doing there with my hands is basically just kind of petting away a lot of those heavy tool marks and just essentially kind of replacing them with like a finger smudge. Now it's important not to actually kind of like press in with your finger, because at that point you're just going to leave a bunch of weird fingerprints. Something that you're going to have to deal with when you're making claymation characters. It's kind of unavoidable. I personally try to keep it down to a bare minimum. And just be careful too, because right now too... Why is Godzilla pink? Oh wow, okay, yeah. You're probably one of the very few remaining car guys. Alright, because yeah, you've been subscribed to this channel for quite a few years at this point. So, nice to see you in the live chat, but... Okay. So, brief description for people, or Tiger HD mostly, but for Godzilla people that may be unaware too, essentially the new Empire is the newest Godzilla movie coming out, so there's a couple trailers you can definitely go watch. And basically, Godzilla is now evolved in the MonsterVerse and has basically turned into this like weird magenta crystallized pink spikes on the back, and his atomic breath has changed and everything. He's got a lot more spikes now. So basically, Legendary Godzilla was heavily requested by a lot of the subscribers here, so I decided to kind of, well, this seems to be trending right now. Let's make a Legendary Pink Godzilla. So, basically, to sum it up very crudely, basically, this is Legendary Godzilla from Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire. So, you got some homework to do. It's actually pretty cool. It's supposed to be coming out this month, and I'm definitely excited for that film. And let me know if you guys are pumped to see it, because, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty exciting, although some people have not accredited Godzilla being pink very well, but, oh well. I personally think it's a really cool design and really love it. Black Rex, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for tuning in. And hello to you too. Hopefully you're doing well. Today we are sculpting away at Legendary Godzilla, you could say, where you guys will get to see Godzilla be finished. So all of you basically tuning in get the special privilege of actually seeing the finished product before anybody else. So now I'm officially picking the monster's nose. Just slightly getting rid of tool marks that are inside nostrils. Oh boy. Really tired today. Oh man. Looking forward to having this guy finished. Yeah, I think you guys get a gist of what I'm working on, so bring it back. See the cell phone's getting just a little bit better. I mean, not bad either. Okay. I got a bit of a dip in the bridge of his nose here, and I don't think that's supposed to be there, so I'm probably going to have to add a pinch Slightly uneven on this side. So just slightly blend that in. He's staring right back at me. Well, that's probably a good thing. I feel slightly awkward about it. Alright. Now before I proceed with the sculpting, I will probably do a little bit of painting here as my filter falls off. Cool. So I'm going to basically just touch up the pupils a little bit at this point because I added just a little bit of a gold ring around his iris. Just to kind of give his eyes a little bit more texture. I would probably like to add more details, but at the same time too, I'm a little nervous to actually touch those and don't want to screw them up because they actually look pretty good. So I think it's going to be one of those rare cases where I am going to actually leave well enough alone. Hey. I'm going to be probably silent for the next few minutes here, because this generally does take quite some time. Godzilla. Hello again. Just painting some eyeballs, so bear with me. This process is slightly nerve-wracking and requires quite a steady hand, so I'm going to be quiet for a minute and let talk. You screw up the pupil, then you screw up everything. Move that light back. Sorry guys. Need to see what I'm doing so Godzilla can see. Lighting is bright.
And teeth at home and never need a dentist again.
Oh, really? Not sure which video you're referring to. Are you talking about one of the more recent live streams, or are you talking about the short that was posted today? This stream, I'm basically staying live up until the point he is finished. Monster will be defeated today. Just touching up the eyeballs here, guys, so bear with me. You can always talk amongst yourselves while I get this, because I don't want googly eye Godzilla is no cool. Okay, I think I nailed it. Whew, okay. I always hate that part. I always get probably more nervous than I should. Today's short. Yeah, I was a little late on the schedule, but I appreciate it. I'm glad you like that. He looks a little bit different at this point. I'll bring him a little bit closer, but I gotta wash off my paintbrush. Unfortunately, it's back here. But seems like you guys can actually hear me okay. So apparently I was having some mic problems earlier on. I guess I have to ditch my new, or the headset, which I'm totally okay with. It's kind of awkward trying to have that thing pulled around and not have the cell phone fall down at the same time. But yeah, I'll get you a better look over here at Godzilla. Because basically, He just, uh-oh. Lighting is terrible. So yeah. Basically, all those lines have been blended in at this point, so he kind of has more of his actual nose slits that you'll see. I'll probably make a few more adjustments. I can't resist picking a monster's nose. Luckily, the cave seems to be pretty clean. Just kind of admiring my reference photos here. Luckily, the face has been one of those things where it actually has a decent point of reference. Usually, I'm just using the one where he's basically roaring up at the top of the camera towards the point he's breaking out of the trailer. Hey, Blaze Man. Happy. Ooh. Hello. I think I said. I hope I didn't butcher your name. I apologize if I did.
Godzilla was amazing.
Yeah, it's been quite a year for Godzilla content, that's for sure. It's been back to back, so it's been, I think, a very good time to be a monster fan for sure. I've been quite enjoying it. Meep Meep. Hello. That's an interesting name. Kind of dig that. That's cool. Got a good ring to it. Okay. So I'm not going to pick a monster's nose exactly at this particular moment. I'm going to bridge a monster's nose because I have a couple hard bump lines essentially from the lines that you guys probably saw earlier from today's short. If not, be sure to go check those out. Most of the shorts have kind of took a view dive, unfortunately, recently since I've started streaming, so be sure to go hit those like buttons and all that self-promoting jazz on that stuff. I won't waste your time too much on that one, guys, but usually that's the best way this channel gets subscribers, so that's where you guys can make a big difference. Very, very, very close to my YouTube partner program, so I've been working really hard towards that, so hopefully you guys can all appreciate that just a little bit. Anyway, I think I need some tools. Shark King. Oh, Scar King request. Yes. Okay, we got a point for Scar King. I'm not sure where he is exactly on my leaderboard at this particular juncture, but I'm obviously kind of glad to see him. I hate to say it, but I think he's kind of cooler than King Kong. Something about that bone whip. Because, yeah, I really want to make the bone whip mainly because of I just think it'd be a really cool thing to animate with. Wouldn't be easy, but I think that's personally why I like sculpting and stop motion so much, because it's not easy. One of those people get bored really easy if I don't find it appealing, I'm just, yeah, not really all there at that point. Like, yeah, I'm only here physically. Mentally, I'm usually in my own Dinosaur or Godzilla land. Now, bear with me, guys. I'll get back to you in the chat here just a minute. I'm sure as much as you guys would enjoy it, I don't want the stream to be dragged on too long either. Must make haste, because after all, the goal of this stream is to have him all finished for you guys at the end. So what I'm doing is just lightly blending in the bridge of the nose, filling in that gap that was there. So not being very aggressive with it, not really using my fingers, because at that point I'm probably going to smush down the nostrils so they just kind of flared out. Excuse me, sorry guys. Almost done. Here's the delicate part right on the tip. Because he kind of has a more mammal-shaped nose as opposed to an actual reptilian nose. That sounds odd to say, but yeah, the body did turn out really cool. I was personally big fan of the fact that this Godzilla is kind of like stepped away from that more traditional chubby factor. Not that there's anything wrong with the chubby Godzilla. I personally quite love him, but it's kind of nice to see a big jack Godzilla for a change, to be honest. So I kind of got to have a little bit more fun with actually sculpting out the muscle structure at this point, because it's kind of fun to do that. I know it sounds strange, but I like the way that kind of stuff works. I really enjoy it, especially for the dinosaurs, because usually when you have a skeleton structure, it's kind of nice to have that something that's very scientifically accurate, because I usually go way overboard with the detail on those things, but I like it because it kind of gives me an opportunity to tie in where all the muscle attachment points would be, trying to make it look as cool as possible. I know some of you there's been a little bit of negative clouds on Big Jaw and my Triceratops on the fact that he didn't give him cheeks, but I've made that attempt before on some of my dinosaurs, especially the, whatchamacallit, shoot, I should know this, herbivores. Oops. But I've tried, yeah, adding cheeks before on the herbivores with the Therizinosaurus in particular, and that it just didn't work out very well. Mainly on the fact that it was kind of hard to describe. I know it seems weird, but there wasn't enough give in the plasticine clay, so every time the cheeks or mouth would have moved up and down like that, it basically would have torn straight open and would have left a big nasty impression. So yeah, it's something I can't do. I know some of you are like, but don't be picky. It's stop motion. I have to make sacrifices in order to make them come to life. So. Hello, Art Like. Hopefully the mic is better. I've unplugged my headset, so seems like it's a lot better at this point. You guys seem to be a little bit more responsive. Hopefully I don't have a whole lot of editing to do in the post thing, but kind of usually just let the stream post as is. Okay, Zilla. I'll see you soon. Still have lots of work to do here, so. Yeah, it's one of those things. No, you can't really do. Hi, Holly. But I just personally, yeah, here. I'll bring up Big John, the dinosaur in question, for everyone, so they can kind of get a better visual reference of what's going on. But notice there were a couple negative comments on the fact that this guy basically doesn't actually have like a cheek muscle structure. But in order to have him actually have a functioning jaw, it just can't happen. So I'm sure Mr. whatchamacallit, man, apologize, you're a regular viewer, still getting familiar with all your guys' names at this point, but it's not doable, right? You're gonna tear open the cheeks every time, and it's a little disheartening. That's where probably doing a silicone model, I know that's actually pretty popular for amongst big studios. No one really actually does claymation solely really anymore, unless you're on the end of content creation kind of here. This is probably one of the better examples. Obviously, I don't know too many other content creators that are usually solely just stop motion or claymation. They usually throw in a little bit of CG. I didn't make sure my hands are clean, and now it's smeared brown on top of Godzilla. Ah. Okay. So, what I'm gonna do, use a tiny little rake, and just clear away the poop stain. That's what it kind of looks like. I don't know if you guys have heard or seen the new called Epic Rap Battles of History's rap video with Godzilla versus King Kong, but that was hilarious. That reminded me of one of the lines there. That was some shit you just threw. Where's Kaiju? Come back. Pacific Rim 2. This is kid stuff. You can measure up to the shin of Godzilla. Stick to your tongue muscles and T-Rexes and sea snakes. You're such a joke, Jack Black's in your Yeah, pretty much memorized.
I'm just getting rid of some of the
Tool marks on the nose there. Move a little bit closer to the camera for you guys so you can get a better view of Mr. Godzilla.
So it'll probably be one of the
More better quality live streams, I'm hoping. Unfortunately, there were some microphone problems at the beginning. But I think we're past that. Okay. I think I'm just about does it for my nose. Probably take my trusty old sculpting knife and just kind of carve things out a little bit here. Give those slots just a little bit more pronunciation. How long did it take to make King Ghidorah? That's a good question. It's been a while. I think that one was excuse me.
Yeah, I'm really tired, sorry.
Guys. Probably at least over a month, if not 5 weeks. It was 5 weeks. I think it was 5 weeks. Most challenging project I've ever done to this day, but probably kind of one of my favorites because it looked really cool. Just trying to make 3 identical faces was an extreme challenge. I know I've mentioned this a few times, but I had nightmares about 3-headed dragons. That's the one project or one sculpture that has kind of got to me so far. Although I'll admit I have a new undescribable hatred for spikes at this point.
So many spikes. Yeah, there's hundreds. I'll put
it that way, if not thousands. Spike trauma. Coming from a man that's probably spent literally months of his life making spikes in the last short period of time. Yeah, okay. Let's finish this guy. So, there isn't too much detail I have left. Oh, I left that side of the nose unblended. I don't have too much detail left on the face, though. There's a couple, for lack of a better description, odd body lines that kind of run along the side of his face here. So I'm going to be adding those next. So we'll make more snakes of clay, stick that on the side of his face, and then slowly basically do the same process as the nose and blend them in with rubber sculpting tools, and just very gently petting away the tool marks. Apologize for the pause. Take a nap. Well, my life is only a series of naps. I never really actually get full amount of sleep at this point, unfortunately. I'll have a nap once I'm done. How about that? I know I probably look really tired, but the show must go on.
I don't even want to talk about how many hours. I've adjusted to it.
Don't worry, this is only like the 4th or 5th cup of coffee today. I think.
Not sure if anyone got that
reference, but dating myself on that one. Can you tell I'm a Beavis and Butthead fan?
Okay.
So now I'm adding the second snake to the side of his face. That basically runs along each side of his eye. kind of like a weird path there. Looks like he kind of has a couple. He's got bags under his eyes, just like me.
So we'll just give that a slight curvature.
Lining up to that very back part of the spike. And we'll trim off the excess. And slowly blend it in.
For the win. And we're one step closer to
having this Godzilla all finished.
Oh. Doug.
Yeah, Doug is the new leader. He's surpassed Shin. I think Kong actually even took over. God damn it, Doug. Yes, I know. Everyone wants Doug.
Titanus Doug.
You had 4 seconds of screen time, and that's all you needed? That's crazy. I don't understand. Kind of an awkward looking toad, almost, but he's kind of cute. I'd say, but he reminds me of my pug. The first thought that came to my mind, he's like, oh, he's like the pug version of Godzilla. Doug's a fan favorite. I can understand the cheering for Doug.
A little disappointed that
I forgot about him, but again, yeah, he was on for 4 seconds.
I'll have to watch that movie again.
At some point. It's been a bit since I've seen it. I'll have to do the entire Godzilla theme run at some point. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Not sure if anyone wants reactions out of that, but I don't personally want to become a reaction channel because I don't think really highly of them, to be honest. I mean, I get it, but not creative. We're basically just kind of a rip-off, just doing all Beats content at that point. But guys. Anyway. Algorithm savage, which I'm completely aware of. I suffer of. But I'm here, and I'm not stopping, so. But I just have to rake away a little bit of that clay, you could say, because this side of the face was too tall, I say. Rakes generally leave marks too, so a light finger stroke comes into play. Just a bunch of Doug arguments, I see. Oh yes, am I excited about the new movie? Definitely. I'm really hoping, considering I've almost finished this project, I should actually have time to enjoy it. There might be a day where I upload the supercut a little bit sooner than usual, but just know that means I'm probably enjoying the new movie. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. Yeah. I think there's gonna be a lot of like homage to some of the older traditional kind of goofier fights, which I'm kind of looking forward to seeing, because I know the last trailer, spoiler alert, for those of you who haven't seen them, Kong is basically riding on Godzilla's back. I know that received a bit of negative clout, but like, well, let's face it, there's been far more ridiculous things that have happened in the Godzilla franchise. Speaking of which, that's probably a good question to ask. What is your most favorite, goofiest thing that has ever happened in the Godzilla movie series so far? Is it the tail slide? That's one of my personal favorites. I kind of want to animate that too, because, yeah, that'd be really, yeah. I mean, it has to be done at some point. I don't know how I'm going to pull that off. But just know there will be a day where Godzilla's tail will be sliding away. Now just taking my well-loved tiny rubber sculpting tool. Probably one of my favorites. I do have multiple ones of these. Kind of give you guys reference. small one and a large one. This is the one I almost use all the time. This is only kind of handy for larger surface areas, like in between the spines. I do have a collection of a bunch of them, but I find if you're going to be a minimalistic sculptor, these are probably ones that I would highly recommend that you get. So going to
Finish blending these in.
this is going to be one of those parts where it's going to be really difficult to kind of get rid of some of those tool marks. You're going to have to actually use the tool itself. At that point, you just kind of do a little rolling technique. And once this is done, I think we got one more line to add on his face.
Then I'm gonna add a little.
Bit more clay to his neck there, where I should probably also,
Part I don't.
I'm debated on actually adding them, unfortunately. I don't know. I'll let you guys make that decision, whether or not I add the gills. My only reason I don't really want to add them is because that's a bit of a safe spot, usually where I put my hand so I can rotate the neck, so just maintenance-wise, it's going to be a pain in the butt for stop motion, but
I'm willing to sacrifice
that for highly detailed characters because it's cool.
That's one thing I should probably
also recommend too for a lot of claymation beginners. If you're just getting into it, keep your character simple, because the more, I know it's cool to usually have something like this matter, to have that doll, but it's pretty frustrating sometimes. You have to constantly be aware of where you're putting your hands with these things.
What is your favorite
Godzilla character besides Godzilla? King Ghidorah. Actually, that's a tough question, but yeah. King Ghidorah is easily my favorite arch nemesis of Godzilla. Because, I mean, he's a giant three-headed dragon. What's not cool about that? Although, I must admit, I'm not very impressed with the fact that you tried killing off the dinosaurs, King Ghidorah. Shame on you. Not cool, man.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
Out of curiosity.
I think King Kong would probably be.
Another one, although I'm a big fan of this new Shimu monster, but I haven't really done a whole lot of research on that character yet. Mainly because I'm Canadian and I think the Nice Titan's kind of cool. Although when I first saw it in Monarch Legacy of Monsters, I kind of had mixed feelings about it. I was like, that's strange. I've never seen that before. But that was a very interesting monster design. I think it was kind of the weird tentacly face that kind of put me off a little bit. I don't know. Okay. He's a weird looking one. Can't remember that name of that Titan. Escapes me right now. You guys are big Godzilla fans, let me know. What was the Ice Titan that first premiered in Monarch Legacy of Monsters? I guess I should have given a spoiler alert for that, but
It's been out for a while and was
Apple's #1 running show for a bit, so if you haven't seen it by now, it's your fault.
I am unapologetic.
I'm tired, I'm like, I don't... Now just... Uh-oh. Sorry, I'm just listening. I think I might have to go grab food. She's crying. Little baby cub. Gigan. Oh yeah, Gigan's a cool one. Big fan of Gigan too. remember seeing a lot of his suitmation films as a kid. I think that was like one of the VHS tapes that was probably well worn out because of me back in the day. If you got, yeah, dating myself on that statement. VHS tape. Movie rental stores? Huh? Back here, if you guys want to see little Miss Foo Foo, she's been probably, either, I think she's just taking a nap now. So I might get the music going again a bit. But for those of you unaware, I do have a small petting zoo. 2 dogs, 3 cats, and some pond goldfish. Not that they have a whole lot of personality, they're just kind of goldfish. They live in the pond during the summer, but little Miss Foo Foo is getting pretty old, so my old puppy dog. Lucky Foo Foo. Okay. Give me a couple seconds here, guys. I'll walk away and go grab the old baby puppy. He seems to be pretty popular around here. Mr. Mittens joined us last time. Oh. Of course, our most popular one here, Miss Holly Girl.
Again.
That kind of spiritual. I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to hug by that character. I'll leave it at that. But here's the first puppy. I'll go get her just a second. We got another attention beggar over here. Hey, hi, Smiles. Hey, who's guys. Apologize. The script, I don't have editing that software, unfortunately, but we will just kind of shuffle the playlist back here.
Guys can probably hear
me coming at this point. There she is. Apologize for, yeah, you can tell she's a happy girl. She's like everybody. Yeah, there she's my old lady pug. Hi, Chewbacca. I know you're there. Oh, oh dear. Oh dear. So yeah, apologize, you're gonna have to deal with some pug breathing noises probably at this point, but that's the pug life, to say the very least. What are you doing, sweetie? I don't think you got some sleep in your eyes.
It's another downside to
the pug life. Can I show Ghidorah? Yeah, just give me a second here. Let me get the eye goopies out of little Miss Cuckoo here.
oh,
Of course, now we have the cats coming in. Welcome to the zoo. Hey, Mr. Mitz. Yeah? You're awake now, too? Yes, Holly.
the animals are taking over.
Okay, so King Ghidorah show and tell. I might have to fix a couple nostrils quick before I actually put him on screen. Unfortunately, he's been damaged a couple times because of the whole...
Can you hold yourself up?
No.
You tired from sleeping all day?
Okay, King Ghidorah. Yeah, she's okay. Little tumble. She doesn't like to sit still. She tends to be a little wiggly worm. Like so. It'd be nice if she just sat still, but so yeah. There's a slight camera delay here, so hopefully you guys can kind of see King Ghidorah okay. But there's a couple neck problems going on. I gotta adjust some things over on Kevin, obviously. So he is in need of a animation preparation or restoration to a certain degree. But he is also just so large that unfortunately he's one of those characters where his own weight's kind of doing a bit of harm, if that makes any sense. He's about 10 to 11 pounds of plasticine weight, so there's like a lot of plasticine. Is the camera steady? I don't know if this is gonna work, guys. I don't want her to be. I love you dearly, boo, but please.
Okay.
Blow the pug hair out of my hand so it's not going to be blended into the sculpture.
So yeah, back to Godzilla's
Face.
Ooh. Sleepy girl. Mr. Mitz is having
In the background too now. Not sure if you guys can hear him. Hey, man.
Oh. Ah, pug hair.
Hi, Holly girl. You don't fit in my life. Nope. Yeah, just getting the snake on the other side of his face here. Apologize if you guys can't see what I'm doing at the moment. But just lightly blending away the hard lines. Making sure we don't actually take down too much of that initial bump.
I love her little yawn.
I don't know if you guys do, but that was really cute.
Hey. I think what I have to do
Next is something that's very difficult, which is basically just adding very, very, very little light slivers of plasticine.
like kind of help sell that.
Basically, take off just a tiny, tiny little bit of my fingernail to make the smallest little snake ever, and just kind of wrap that around the edge of his eye just so it looks a little more blended in.
How long have I been?
This Godzilla, almost a month. We're on week 3. Technically,
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 3 days.
past. Oh god, I'm tired. Math is not calculating. So, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 24 days so far. For Dino Wiggle Worms. Not a fan of having a pug in my lap while I try to do this. It's slightly difficult. Thumbs up if you love Fufu though.
You missed the old
Lady of the house.
I don't know if you guys know.
But her eyes are pretty bad, unfortunately. Can't see too well anymore. So she's a bit of a handful to take care of. Can you stop moving, honey? I had to recently get a baby gate. Don't even have my own kids, but buying child things for a dog now. Just so that way she doesn't have any accidents with the stairs or anything like that. She's got a bad habit of trying to wander around. So, yeah.
I know, Holly. Yeah, it's past an hour. I might
have to kind of go let the other dog out. My German Shepherd has a paw patrol she has to insist on doing to make sure that everything's safe. Didn't raise a guard dog. But I got one. I guess it's kind of instinctual for that breed to a certain degree. It'd be nice if I didn't have to let her out every hour, 45 minutes. If she had to go to the bathroom, it would be one thing, but she literally just goes outside and just scans the backyard, looks at both ends, and that's it. Okay, let me back in. We're safe.
So now just adding
that small fingernail portion to the side of his eye. Careful, people. I'll need you catching a Godzilla spike.
You already had it spilled.
We don't need any more accidents.
Hopefully you guys don't
mind the breathing too much. I know some people might be kind of irritated by that, but I've gotten used to it at this point in my life. Is that clay? Yes, it's all clay. For Mr. Godzilla, thanks for tuning in. He is basically a stop-motion armature doll. So what that entitles is he's an entirely handmade claymation figure that's fully anatomical. So basically everything has complete full range. It's not like any toy that you would be able to purchase off the shelf where you have limited access to things. So yeah, pretty cool. Air dry clay? No. I despise that stuff personally. I'm not a fan of it. Some people might like it, but air dry clay is just, if you want to be rushed on your sculpture, use it. I can't stand that stuff. I've used it a couple times as a kid, and I immediately went to plasticine clay. What plasticine clay is basically an oil-based product that never actually dries up. So that way you're actually able to use them for stop motion or claymation, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term, but I'm guessing you're probably kind of new to this channel or just kind of tuning in. But what stop motion is basically you have your cell phone or your camera set up on a little tripod, move the character a little bit, take a picture. Move the character, say a little bit, take another picture. And then slowly over time you would basically get the hand opening or closing or various other motions. So basically what you're seeing is just like hundreds to thousands of basically still frames all blended together, make it look like an actual, real life monster.
And I don't want to
Hairy monster, so I think I'm gonna have to put food down here pretty quickly. I'm not making King Kong or not moving. The other fan favorite is escaping me right now. I'm trying to juggle up Pug and Sculpting and stream at the same time.
Okay. I'm gonna put food down.
So, yeah. Sorry, guys. I know you guys requested to have her, but she was here. She said hi, but this is too difficult with her.
Here, sweetie. Yeah, just gonna put you down in your bed, okay?
Wandering around. So hopefully he doesn't
decide to get too
adventurous. Can I see King Ghidorah? Just give me a couple minutes here. I'm gonna add a couple more strips of clay. He was kind of on display recently too, so if you want to rewind a little further back, you might be able to kind of catch him. I don't know if you're able to actually do that on a live stream, but I'm kind of new to all this. I think this is like my 4th or 5th live stream at this point. I think 5th. I've done one every day this week so far. I wasn't going to tonight, in all honesty. So I was like, I'm just tired. I don't want to do it anymore. But the show must go on. I'm a stickler for punishment, can you tell? Just gonna need to grab my tablet so I can have a reference photo.
I'm covered in punk hair.
I had clothes on that didn't come here for a reason. I wanted to get this finished. It's okay, we'll get there. I'm sorry. Just the goal of this stream is to essentially get this entire character finished. I don't want it to take, all night long. So, yeah. Kind of a cool opportunity for you guys as well. You'll be the first ones to actually view my finished product. It pretty much is done at this point already, not gonna lie. But at this point, I just have a couple more lines on the face to kind of add maybe a little more skin texture. This neck part, I don't like how much it dips down. Even though I'm kind of like the maneuverability there, I don't think it's a good idea. And then debated, I'm still on the fence about adding his gills, because as I stated before, he is a stop motion claymation doll, or armature doll for technical purposes. So what that usually means is I'd like to have safe spots on my characters. So places that I can basically put my hands where I know I'm not going to mush up a bunch of the detail.
Right. Sorry, being picky.
Over tiny little imperfections. So what I'm basically doing on this side of the face, that you guys can't see apart from throwing my little face snake, is basically he's got two lines, kind of like the bags under my eyes from being so tired and working on this thing all the time. So just kind of, just kind of adding in those final details, and then I'll show off King Ghidorah once more. He
Seems to be a pretty
popular favorite. I think it was one of my more highly viewed how-to videos too, actually, which I really appreciate because I legitimately got nightmares over that character. I know I've said that a lot, so I won't talk about it anymore. But yeah, that was 5 weeks of non-stop grinding, to say the least. So for my mental health sake, hit all the buttons. Makes me feel a lot better. Rate the chat, blah blah blah. You know, if you enjoy this stuff, my monster fans. Okay, let's show off King Ghidorah. I just hit Godzilla's face, great. Now I gotta fix a nostril. So yeah, that is King Ghidorah. He's in slightly rough shape, unfortunately. I do have a slight delay on my camera in comparison to you guys, so hopefully you can kind of see him okay. Oh god, this is really weirdy.
Just making minor adjustments.
But yeah, one neck there has got some issues. I'm gonna have to kind of fix that, unfortunately. But he is 16, 17 inches tall, 11 pounds of plasticine clay, and a 25.5 inch wingspan. So he's a big character. I haven't done too many animations with him yet, but we'll get there. He's going to be facing off a pair of Godzillas at some point, that's for sure. I'm probably going to have to do this. I apologize if it's a little janky, guys. But I'm probably going to have to do some animation preparations in order to accomplish the things that I want with that character, which basically entitles making even more heads. More nightmares I can see coming in the future. Honey, just stay in your bed, please. Can't see too well no more.
Should train the German Shepherd to be.
Seeing eye dog. Thanks. Yeah, I've been working on this Godzilla for almost a month now, so I gotta fix his nose because I just, bumped it with my beak of my hat. You normally don't wear hats, so I'm kind of adjusted to that, but I find being around the studio lights constantly wearing a hat honestly makes a big difference and makes it a lot more comfortable. My eyes don't feel nearly strained at the end of the time, so being a welder fabricator probably isn't helping either, but welder splash isn't fun.
Won't talk too much about that.
But don't look into the light. You will be blinded.
So yeah, gotta pick a monster.
Nose here for a few minutes, kind of undo the damage, so to speak.
It wasn't too bad, but it's always
kind of annoying having to do resculptures or resculpting, which you just did. Guess it's more content for you guys, right?
although you'd probably.
I imagine it's probably entertaining to some people that are picking a monster in snows, but I just move on here. God. Hug hair.
Phil, can you lay
Down, sweetie. Honey, you're now wandering into the lights. Sorry, guys. I don't think Foo is really capable of joining us for streams too often. She's kind of at that point. I understand she's really cute, but for her sake, she's probably best if she kind of stays in the room most of the time while I'm doing this.
She can't get herself into trouble. Sweetie. Come on. Yeah, just a second, guys. Oh, girl. I don't want to talk
about it too much because it's kind of sad, but I think a lot of the time seeing how she's so old and her vision's really bad at this point, she just doesn't know where I am, and she's just kind of trying to find me. Unless she's like physically touching me, she just kind of has no idea what's going on.
Kinda sucks.
One of my complaints about dogs is they don't live long enough. You can't be your best friend forever. Yeah, sad thing. Let's not talk about that.
So,
Bending in face lines.
then it's neck.
And gills. Never done. I mean,
Trying to think of a list of other things.
May or may not have to touch over or do.
Guess that's perspective that
You guys are probably not used to exactly seeing, where it's like, oh, what did I forget? What else do I have to sculpt or do? It gets me just kind of staring into Godzilla's eyes. It means I'm contemplating what I'm going to do next.
oh yeah.
One thing I'll have to do off camera, I don't have that prep, so I mean, he won't be entirely finished. He'll be like 99.9% finished. I'll have to clear coat the eyeballs before he is officially done, because that basically gives it that glossy look, so it looks like his eyes are actually wet, and most importantly, it protects the eyeball paint, because painting eyes is really difficult.
Oh, not too bad.
I'll admit I'm extremely tired today, so running off the life a series of naps is kind of the best description, unfortunately, I think, but
Yeah.
doing okay. Hopefully your day's going a bit better. I was rather ambitious last night because I was like, I can finish it, I can finish it, I can finish it, and 1 in the morning rolls around and it's like, okay, I have to get some sleep.
Mr. Mitties. I have a kitty
Apparently he's
meowing about mittens.
give me a chance to show off my polydactyl cat. Not sure if you're familiar with that term, but basically a polydactyl cat is a cat that has thumbs. Got extra toes.
Hence the name Mr. Mittens.
Last time, picking the pug hair out of my sculpture, that was a major setback.
Yeah, I apologize if you can hear.
Who whining in the background. Now trying to find me again. I might have to, I think I'm gonna go have to put her in my bedroom, guys, just so she doesn't get lost. Here she comes for the lights once again. Boo, don't go into the light.
Okay. Bear with me, I will
Be right back, guys. I apologize. I'm just gonna go put the old girl in a safer place so she's not so lost.
Hello, everyone.
I come back with a cat. Apparently Mr. Mitty doesn't want to say hi to you guys.
Hey, Mitties. Oh, I know it's light. I don't think, yeah.
He doesn't reply, you guys. I gotta let him go. Yeah, sorry, baby boy. That's Mr. Mittens. Can be a little vocal sometimes.
He's a pesty little brat.
Knows where the attention is at. Yeah, don't you, Mr. Mittens?
Also, I had to let my German.
Shepherd out there, so I'm gonna have to make a detour in a few minutes here to let her back in. Apologize.
As content creators,
Do have lives outside of platform in which we generally work on all the time. So, that's good.
Happens when you stream. She was overdue for her Paw Patrol. Not that it's ever necessary.
Okay.
Mittens.
Quiet down, bud. Try giving you attention. Oh, my hair all over my face.
What do you want?
So yeah, blending in
The last few lines.
lines of his face. Yeah, gives you kind of an idea how long it. Oh no. Spike down. Gives you an idea how long this stuff takes. I think we've added. I mean, given the fact that I'm answering questions and streaming at the same time, it is going to take a little bit longer than usual. But we've added about 3 lines now, and we're an hour and a half in. Squidward. Are you making a Squidward request? What? No, my sculptures don't dry out because I use what's called plasticine clay. That stuff never dries. It's what it's been used for a lot of stop motion or claymation characters for several decades at this point in the film industry. It's a bit of a dying art form, but no, they do not dry out. They will remain fully annotated. It's okay. I mean, I'm just curious if you're actually requesting Squidward. It's just like, what? Not necessarily what I think the vast majority of my audience would really want to see, but I do have some ideas for, perhaps some octopus-like monsters in the future, but I won't spoil that. Pay close attention to the Godzilla takeover. You guys missed something. There's an Easter egg. There's quite a few Easter eggs, actually.
Use. That's also a hint. Okay, for those of you who have
pets and also sculptors, this is probably a handy trick. Grab your favorite or your most trusted sculpting tool and just slightly slide under the hair and pinch it with the top of your finger so you can get it on. That's going to be a necessary evil when you have a small zoo, such as myself.
do Squidward.
Oh god. Ah. I'm not a SpongeBob fan, guys. I'll be openly honest about that. I've already suffered the same fate as the SpongeBob guy himself. Hence the muse. But
Annie, hello.
thanks for tuning in. Finishing off the Godzilla project today. The X-Kong one, you could say. Not too much left to work on at this point. So, getting down to the wire. Then I can do some glamour shots.
So you guys will have to view it.
And for part 3 to get some cool shots of Godzilla essentially taking over, stomping around town, although I might also do some outside. Considering he was frozen in ice for a very long time, I think it's only appropriate.
Did I butcher your name?
Sorry. Or is my microphone not working too well? I know I was having some issues with that earlier on, so I ditched the headset. Streaming off my old phone, my new one's over there. It's the one that actually does all the filming, so.
Do the man in the suit.
I'm not familiar with that character, to be honest. If you could give me a slightly better description, or either that or I could look him up real quick. I have my tablet handy so I can do kind of some character research for you guys if need be.
Mean octopus.
And we're getting more Squidward requests. Oh god. Guess we don't have to add that to my list. Are you ready, kids?
Ooh, the muse.
The muse. Feed it. I don't want to feed it.
SpongeBob man.
Really pain, bro. Really pain. Started doing cars. I'm into that.
So this one line here, I know.
Kind of extends past his neck a little bit, but I should probably go let my German Shepherd back in because she's been on paw patrol for a few minutes. So I'll be right back, Chad. Land in this one spot, and I'll be back.
Gotta let.
With German in.
Alright, just
Second. Okay, good news, everyone. The Holly Paw Patrol was successful. We are all safe. Yeah, nice smiles.
do Godzilla minus.
2. That's an interesting concept. Read a little bit more on that one. Huh. There's an actual -2? New news to me.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Bear with me, I'm gonna look.
That up quick.
Godzilla minus 2.
You say so?
Oops. Helps if I spell it right.
Okay. Let's see.
Looks like there's a.
Another YouTuber out there kind of doing that. Who has a character concept in that matter, from what I see on my research. Doesn't look like it's vastly popular, but that's interesting.
All while rallying her daughter's soccer team. Saving money could be.
Sorry, the show makes me puke.
Not sure what show you're referring to.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm tired.
Bear with me. I running on maybe like 3 hours of sleep right now, so if that. Window of opportunity to my terrible sleep patterns. Life is only a series of naps.
I want to think about it.
Almost done. I'll be able to go to bed early today, guys. I promise. I'll be well rested tomorrow. I just have to
Essentially, talk to myself.
for lack of a better term. I know it sounds like I'm kind of going crazy, but basically do commentary for the part 3 of the Godzilla project. So yeah, hopefully I'm able to finish all the editing tomorrow at a half decent time. So be sure you have your post notifications on so you guys do not miss that video, because I've been working really hard on it, obviously, the last little while, and we're almost there. So yeah, be sure to tune in for that. I would definitely appreciate your guys' support. Part 2 has actually done pretty good. I'm surprised that I actually have a decent amount of views at this point. So I'm looking for paint, though. I apologize if I seem like I'm always I'm out of caffeine. I need more caffeine. Okay. Got a couple spots to touch up on the paint spikes here. So that's why I was looking for my magenta. I've got a little bit more clear coat to those before I go to bed. Thank you.
But I already have to do the eyes.
So not a big deal.
I'm just gonna throw it in the same tray as
The
eyeballs.
sorry, I know there's another spot that I'm missing.
Aha!
Skull crawler. Oh, that hasn't been requested for a while. Honestly, I really like the skull crawlers too. I think they're just an overall really cool, terrifying concept. That was probably some of the most brutal fight scenes in any sort of like MonsterVerse movies franchise so far. Was that one? That was really cool seeing Kong rip up that thing's guts. Very cool, yeah. Maybe I could pull something like that off in stop motion. That actually probably wouldn't be as hard as you think. We just need a jumble of like white plaster, red plaster sealing basically. That doesn't necessarily need to look like anything. We just make a mess out of it.
Now I gotta clean up my paint.
Brush here because that's important. So, ring the bell noise.
Oh, you're talking about.
SpongeBob. Okay. Thankfully, someone is on my side because, yeah. Surprised you guys are. Yeah, I mean, not that surprised, but. If I'm making one of those, I'm feeding it to a monster. That's the deal there. So it won't be a very detailed character. That's usually how I dispose of my old rotten characters. There's been one man that's been eaten by a T-Rex so far that bared a similar resemblance to me. So, yeah. That's an old animation. Back in the day where I used to use 3 and 30 FPS, not 2 and 24, which is definitely what I recommend for all you fellow stop motion animators. It's a lot more work, but it definitely is a lot smoother animation in the process. Oh, Mr. Mittens. What's up, Holly?
The pinch technique.
Or root hairs. Yeah, just finishing up this one line here, guys, so don't be shy, talk amongst yourselves. But if you got any questions, feel free to ask. I will get to you momentarily. I think that one will be a little too high. What you'll see me probably doing from time to time too is just kind of heading things out. What I'm doing there is essentially feeling things with my hands so I know what surface is higher or more uneven than the other, so I know where to add or take away clay. On this side, just needs a little shaving. No, shaving Godzilla. I also have to add that small little curve up there too.
Then I think it's just the.
Neck. Try not to stare off into Godzilla's eyes anymore. I'm not sure if that's as entertaining as it sounds for you guys, but. Okay, as King Ghidorah. Ooh, that's a cool request. He's the one with 4 legs, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's been a while since I've done the homework on that guy. I'm pretty sure that's a 4-legged one. Shoot. But yes, King Ghidorah's will be probably another big favorite of this channel. I imagine I plan on doing more, but those are one of those projects where I need almost like a certain amount of backstock on like what I refer to as supercuts, which is basically these projects all combined together into one big video. Because it takes so long, I generally like to try and post one video per week, which obviously I'm behind on at this point. Because I find if I don't do that, then the algorithm is a little more angry at me.
Not that I've ever been fully
Able to actually satisfy that monster, but slowly but surely, we're getting there.
Okay, something's wrong with
The mic on this phone then. Apparently, yeah, okay. Thanks, guys. Apologize if it's been really bad. On that note, I will finish this as fast as possible without trying to give too much description, because that might be kind of bad at this point. I'll do my best, but I think this phone is going to be retired after this stream. I was hoping it was going to be my live stream phone, but what I think I'll end up doing from this point on is just use the S8. It's probably got a better camera than this thing anyway.
So now,
It's a speed run. I apologize, guys. It's been working okay so far, to my knowledge, but I don't know. Phone's apparently having a bad day today. Either that or it could be getting a little warm.
I think I've hated enough on Apple.
Products during my streams, though. Yeah, okay. Art Light said that too. It was going in and out. Okay.
I'm really sorry, guys.
I have, like, of course, a nice fancy mic set up back there, but it's not adapted for that. I don't know if I should almost just close this stream and open up a new one at this point. That's probably...
Yeah, explains a lot.
Angry face. Sorry.
That phone's about 5 years old now.
So.
Thanks, man. Almost done all the...
Baseline at this point, guys. So,
Just to keep things accurate, I'm
probably going to end up adding the gills.
just evening out the side on...
This face here is a little wonky.
-1, yeah.
He's probably one of my more successful projects. I really love the design on that Godzilla. He's got to be one of my favorites, to be honest.
Cause yeah, I
I mean, one of those moments as a sculptor or artist, I saw the trailer, saw the design for that monster, and it was like, okay, that was cool. I have to have one of those.
okay, almost even on this.
Side here, I think.
This is like one of those processes.
Just everything you do has to be very, very, very
plotted out.
Can't be too aggressive when you're sculpting out the face. At that stage where basically everything's kind of done, I'm now just kind of fine-tuning it and looking for all the very minuscule imperfections.
And rarely anyone's probably ever gonna
notice but me, but I know it's like too many people. Shin Godzilla, yeah, he's a pretty popular favorite. He used to be one of the more requested monsters, but I think Doug has, yeah, Doug has surpassed everything at this point. He was mentioned once in a stream, and then just everyone was like, Team Doug!
It's like, oh yeah, that weird
looking character. I definitely need a Doug though. He reminds me a lot of my my dogs, so.
I remember just immediately
After that stream, I went on a Titanus Doug binge.
can't remember
Who it was, but I came across this other YouTube Godzilla content creator and made this weird animation with Godzilla holding him, and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Bugs!" I'm like, "Oh my god, I want to watch it. This is hilarious." So, I think my Godzillas need a Mr. Bugs as a family pet. Doug, God, Mr. Claymation, we know you are a Doug fan. Calm down.
picture
Your room just has Titanus Doug posters everywhere, right? Actually, kind of sounds cool. I would do something like that, you know. Although it was mostly cars for me. Be a massive gearhead, believe it or not, before all this took place. The first car is a 1986 Camaro IROC Z with the 350 with the 5-speed power, or the 5-speed T5 5-speed unit at the beginning, and now has a 2-speed power glide set up for drag racing and a Moser 9-inch with a positrack rear end.
it's miles per gallon, not
miles per gallon, boys. Then I have a 98 Neon. That's my sleeper car. That's pushing probably close to 275 to 300 horsepower, maybe. Probably that's being a little generous, I think, but car weighs absolutely nothing. It's a quick little snot rocket. I love it because it's a Neon, because no one expects it to be fast. Then I have a 1996 F-150 that is basically the workhorse for everything. It actually has heavy-duty suspension, lift kit, airbags all the way around, Hypertech chip. It was one of my projects. I was like, I'm not spending money on that. Way too much money spent on that truck, I'll put it that way. Then I have a 1963 AMC Rambler, basically kind of like my no-rider car. And I don't have too many cars, so I have to stop and think about which ones you own.
I have a minivan, but don't.
That's not really.
I think that's it. I had a Supra
at one point, but I blew that up in 5 days.
Still cheeseburger man. Cheeseburger. Who's a cheeseburger man?
Confused.
What you're referring to? I don't want no grimace. Not on TikTok anymore.
Used to be. I had a decent following there at one point, but may or may not make a return to that. We'll see. Don't really want any more changes to manage at this point, to be honest.
Okay.
Stay focused. Home stretch. Almost done. Almost done. Let me get back to my reference images here, boys. I think I've done all the face lines. I'm just kind of doing what's already being picky.
Hello, Godzilla. Let me look into your eyes.
No uneven spot there.
Blend it in, blend it in. I'm not sure if my water bottle's in here. I did not aquatically prepare.
Myself for the stream. I do apologize if the mic is still having some issues. I don't know what's going on with this cell phone, but I'm a little disappointed on it. Oh, yeah. I digress.
Oh, give it. Oh!
Oh! You're that guy. Okay, now I remember. My bad. I think he's had a few cheeseburgers at this point. He doesn't need to be plumped up much more. He's already 6 pounds, 5 pounds. As you can see, he's not exactly, maybe a little more bulimic than some of the other Godzillas, considering he actually has a cut chest. But I digress. He still needs to be able to actually move around, so I generally don't like adding as much as I probably should in some places for strategic purposes, because I'm sure you would like to see some animations of this character. Otherwise, I may as well just switch to monster clay and make cool sculptures if you guys want something that's going to be 100% accurate in that sense, and then there's no more animations. So, pick and choose. I'm the one in charge here.
Honestly, though, I do want.
Try some monster clay at some point. So,
I just haven't.
haven't been able to justify that yet.
Which I'll probably use.
The monster clay as like essentially cast for like merchandise, I think.
Because I don't know.
Don't know how well this stuff would actually mold if I ended up say putting it in the cast and tried to make like toys out of these, so
Yeah,
I don't think I'm counting any of those as dud points, guys. He's in the lead, so maybe give that one a little bit of a rest.
I get it. Got a lot of Doug fans.
Shinu is next, no matter how many times you spam Doug. I'll put it that way. My clay inventory does not have enough space for Doug. We must recover from the massive Godzilla project. This is not enough to make a Doug. It's a lot, but not enough. I'm just kind of evening out some eye spots here, guys. Before I move on to the very last part. Almost finished. I need a nap.
Cranky. Now just evening things out.
Might just add a little bit more musculature to his jawline. Yeah, like, I get the enthusiasm, guys, but yeah, don't be spamming the chat like that. That's probably pretty annoying. It was funny the one time. We'll put it that way. Mainly, probably because my reaction was like, "Oh God, what's happening?" But yeah, try to avoid that. Kind of a bad taste at that point, right? Okay. Listen to my eyes bend it up.
A lot of just tiny little
Little marks everywhere. So basically, kind of just
lightly blending
those away with my fingers, you could say.
but I think I can move on.
Being kind of nitpicky at this point, but how I am, unfortunately. Bit of a perfectionist. I don't know if you guys can tell. To a degree, although a lot of people seem to be not satisfied sometimes, but whatever.
Haters gonna hate.
I don't see them making 5-pound play Godzilla, so.
Oh.
That's a spot I don't like. Kind of, maybe just a pinch more here. Shimu, I mean, he only had 4 seconds of screen time.
Yes, Mr. Mittens.
Although I noticed there's some rumors of him. Okay, I'm not even gonna bring it up then. Fine tuning, guys. Kind of one of these moments where it's just like really difficult to try and get it in. Small little things that no one else is really gonna notice, but if it's not done, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
I'm just adding.
Trying to make his eye line essentially the same, which is probably one of the most important things. So
Requires a bit of
concentration.
That's a low spot. It takes a
A
lot.
lot of practice to kind of help answer your or make you feel a little better. I've been sculpting for over 25 years. Long time. So don't be too hard on yourself. I don't even remember when I started. Practice makes perfect. I basically kind of do this stuff every day, so that would be my recommendation to you as well. Just keep doing it over and over and over again. Eventually you'll get good at it. And once you do, you can basically have whatever you want, which is pretty cool. you too could be like me at 1 in the morning watching Godzilla trailers going, oh, that's cool, I want it. That sounds very... Sleep is important, people. Get sleep. Okay. Speaking of which, I'm moving on. I could probably play with his tiny little details on his face all night, so... Adding the last bit of play on the home stretch now, I say.
Yeah, well, this is the longest
stream done so far, over 2 hours. I need caffeine.
Okay, what I'm gonna do next?
Add a couple even strips of clay.
And then just add this.
To this section of the neck, because he looks a little skinny there. He needs a cheeseburger, as the one guy said.
And then what I'm going to do, reluctant as I am to add
them, is add the gills along the side of his neck, just using a clay knife. Trusty favorite, like 25-plus-year-old knife. And just kind of make little slits there. I don't think I'm going to make them go pink or anything like that, because I don't want to mix in too many colors there, because if I do that, then that's going to be a major problem. I'm already concerned that basically, as soon as I start animating with this guy, I'm probably going to lose those gills anyway. Just for everyone that's here and watching it, know that I added them. I did I added them.
They were there at one point.
Okay. Let's add a little bit more to his neck. You guys talking about eating lizards? That's interesting.
I don't think I've actually ever tried that.
Spike down. I have had alligator though. But honestly wasn't really properly prepared. It tasted really rubbery.
Wasn't a big fan. But then again, considering where I'm from,
Crocodiles are nowhere near my location, which I'm probably kind of happy about, because yeah, if I was to pick an animal that I'm scared of, it's definitely them. I mean, they're cool. I admire them on that aspect. But God, down a few internet rabbit holes of alligator attacks, and that's just some really bad stuff. Not recommended for younger audiences there. Yikes.
Part of what bugs me is just watching
people that are opening this mouth and going, oh, I'm going to stick my head in there. Why are you doing that? Why? Sorry, this is not a reaction channel, but that gets my blood going. Ah.
It's another one that I saw recently.
I shouldn't talk about this, but another one I saw recently was this lady that happened to be a zookeeper, and it was a smaller one, and it got her arm. Oh, that did not look comfortable.
Yeah. Thicklish? Not sure what you're referring to
There, but I don't know. I didn't. Yeah, I just don't think it was probably necessarily the best quality. It was more or less like, oh, that's a weird thing. I've never seen that here in Canada. Let's try it.
I'm wondering how many
places actually out of the world do that on a regular basis. Strange food.
Hello.
Fun fact, believe me or not, crocodiles are actually closely related to birds because they're both members of the Argofox family. So, alligators and birds are basically all dinosaurs. Mr. Mittens, what you doing?
English lesson?
Might have to go check out my cat, guys.
He's kind of being obnoxious. I'm also a new attendant while I live stream. Animals. Almost done, guys. I might still probably do some off-camera work, but either way, at this point, anyone who's watching will get an idea of what the finished product will basically look like.
Think I need more.
It's probably hard for you guys to kind of notice that, but this Godzilla basically has kind of a two-tone color pattern going on. Notice that with a lot of the toys, and the actual one is probably a little more subtle in the actual Godzilla. So it's really subtle here too, but there's a little bit of a gray strip that kind of goes down the midsection of his body, and it goes up on his neck there, and I don't know if I have any more of that color. So
Look around here a little bit, but I don't think I do.
unfortunately, it's one of those situations where it is a custom mix, which is something I would generally recommend not doing. A custom color, as fun as those can be, the only issue with it is once you make a custom clay color, you're never going to be able to actually get that color once again. So unless you're really, really good at color blending skills, I can get really close, but you're never exactly going to nail it again.
Even it's one studio that I personally
I'm a really big fan of called Aardman Animation. Basically buys pounds, like hundreds of pounds of certain colors because they know for a fact that it's impossible unless you cheat that. So if you're ever doing custom colors, always make sure you're going to have more than enough. It's better to have too much than too little in that case, because you can't do it again. I mean, unless you're really good, but
even with my
over 20 years of experience, I struggle with that.
but I think I'm lucky. There's just a tiny little bit left. Oh, you're Australian.
Cool. Way from down under. Actually, that's a place I've always personally wanted to go. Australia's really cool. You guys have crocodiles a lot there.
It's probably really warm too.
Kind of curious, what's the temperature like out of there? You probably won't like what I have to say.
Yeah, it's been really cold the last couple
Weeks. Not to mention we had a really heavy snowstorm where I had to dig my car out of a snowbank. That was fun.
got like a foot and a half of snow, I think.
So yeah. Got lucky, chat. I have just that last little bit of gray plasticine that was needed. That way we can make his neck look a little girthier. Gonna have to touch up his skin a little bit, but thanks, man. I'm glad you like it, because that's, yeah. I've literally been working on that probably all day or all night since I've gotten home from work today. And I was working on it last night. I don't know how many hours I have in the piece at this point, so yeah. Thank you. That means a lot to me. So thankfully, I think we're at a point where this guy's just about done, and I can happily say that part 3 should be available tomorrow. I will be getting a lot of sleep tonight. Thank God. Okay, cool. But with that added bit of words of admiration inspiring me, let's get this thing done. You have to be kind of careful with my positioning on my neck here too, guys. I don't want to talk about it too much, but unfortunately I have a little bit of nerve damage going on where if I'm not careful I will lose the feeling in these fingers. It's obviously not good for a sculptor. Thankfully that's just about over. It's been through a lot of physical therapy lately. World of a difference. Time to get through that stuff. It's scary. But yeah, now I'm just going to even out that strip, kind of essentially fade it away, you could say.
Seem to be rhyming more often.
Tired, I guess. Maybe that's the trick to my poetry, is being tired all the time.
Apologize if my microphone's
Still not working the greatest, guys. Did not anticipate that. But
I think it's time to say
farewell to my old iPhone Pro 11. It has served me well. I've maxed this thing out probably
how many times this year or last year? This
year, I don't know, probably at least 10 times. So
I should guess it shouldn't be.
surprised if it's a device, a tire device at this point. That or my phone, this iPhone knows there's a Samsung here that's doing all the heavy lifting and doesn't like that.
Good luck with the dog request.
Yes, we get it.
Point system is not to be
Abused. Once it starts happening in that regards, I'm going to kind of ignore that. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but it gets to a point where it's a little bit overwhelming.
I don't move. Yeah. Oof.
I won't digress too much, but my list of projects is big enough. I get it. You guys are enthusiastic, but I am only one person. Bear in mind, it took me, I know I'm not talking to you, Mr. Claymation, I get it, but, it took me almost a month just to make this guy. And I was hoping for sooner. And it's not like an effort of not trying. I've late nights every night on this thing, so yeah, I digress. Home stretch. Really tired. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. So, touch up the neck details with my fancy roller tools. And one thing too, I should probably mention, was on the fence last time about the whole adding that to his chest. I ended up actually adding it. And you can still see a decent amount of the details there up there. But that just kind of came to my mind mainly because I noticed there was a couple
Smudge spots. The skin, honestly.
I hate myself for coming up with this idea. I wish I never did. As odd as that may sound, it was kind of like one of those things where I'm like, this is a claymation doll. I really shouldn't do that because every time I touch it, I'm going to mess it up. But I want to see what it looks like. Damn it, it looks cool. So, here I am. Any more unnecessary punishment? That's probably really necessary, but I think it's worth it. Pretty sure I would probably be receiving a lot of negative comments at that point if I had smooth skin Godzilla, didn't they? Why is your Godzilla baby smooth? That's not correct. Yeah, done adding the clay to the neck there, guys. So I'm basically just kind of touching up little things around that I have probably overworked from sculpting. My problem here. And yeah, I'm sorry. Almost done. I apologize. This phone won't be used again. Next stream will be done on my S28 tablet. So, I don't know what's going on. Stupid iPhone. Not sponsored. Can say whatever I want. Throat's starting to get a little sore, sorry.
Trends. So gills.
Last order of business.
So to keep looking for spots to touch up. And then there's in then.
Okay, so how many gills have we got on the side here? 1, 2, 3, 4? Looks like 4.
Just kind of studying my
Reference story here, guys.
2, 3, 4. Yep, 4. Yeah, okay.
We're gonna do it. I don't know how well they'll last. But
Necessary evil. I would almost like to use a curved knife, I'm thinking. One of those tools I'd never
really used, but once in a blue moon, when you need it, it's nice to have. I think it's actually my dirty glue knife.
For those of you unaware,
You can check out one of my other live streams after to find out what I mean by the glue knife. I won't describe it too much, but the one that I usually mistreat all the time. But I think this is the one occasion I'm actually going to need it.
just need to carve off.
The excess glue. Carving tool here is in my collection of claymation stuff. Hey, Mr. Mittens. So yeah.
This is the abused said knife. Hi, Sweet Pea.
I know. We're getting to that Paw Patrol time again, aren't we? Yeah, right on the dot. Pretty demanding to yourself. Oh, hello, Mittens. Yeah? Hey, buddy. Almost done, honey. You can do your patrol soon. Once I'm finished.
Slight regretting.
Glue that's on this knife. Hey, don't chase the cat.
No, don't do that. Don't smile at me, that's not gonna make it better. My dog has a habit of
Smiling when I try to give any sort of discipline. It's like kind of cute. Yeah, you are. You know me too well, dog.
my one weakness, puppy smiles.
All good, Meep Beep. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. So, I don't know if you have already, but be sure to hit that like button as hard as a kaiju. And I'll hopefully see you next time. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Hopefully part 2 will be available. If not, there will always be a daily short for sure. Anyway, have a good night and sleep well. kind of regretting saying that I was going to be on here until I finished, but I only have a few more minutes actually. I think.
It's usually what I tell myself.
When I'm sculpting, it'll only take a few minutes. Several hours later.
What you doing, Mittens? Hmm?
Okay, this is awkward. I've never sculpted gills before, guys. I'm coming at a top angle like that, so it looks like it cuts into his neck a little bit more.
On closer inspection, though, probably
Going to be a problem when I'm moving the neck around. So it may or may not stay, guys. Yeah, I don't know. Just know that they were added. If they're not there, I don't want to get a bunch of comments going, "You didn't add this." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry, it's clay machine ball. Hard pencil that much." So, probably going to have to get used to that. The general public doesn't quite understand this stuff a lot of the time, I notice. I'll explain to coworkers or friends what I like to do for fun, and they just look at me like, "You are crazy."
probably am a little bit, but
Takes a special kind of individual to do stop motion. Someone that wants to sit there for hours and hours on end, take thousands and thousands of pictures. Like when I first got my new cell phone, within the first month I took over 3,000 pictures with that thing. Put it to good use. So say, well, welcome to what you're going to be doing for the next 5 years. You're going to be as angry as my iPhone by the time I'm done with you. 154, 154.
awesome.
Thanks, Blaze, man. I kind of figured you would. You seem to be a pretty big fan. Now, I do apologize. I know you're mostly responsible for let me choose correct one here. Not used to talking so much because I'm on stream all the time. But, anyway. I know you're the one that was personally, like, mostly responsible for the Shin Godzilla request. We will do that next. That's the next Godzilla for sure. I promise. Because you've been actually pretty respectful and patient about that, and I honestly can't thank you. Because it's a little frustrating sometimes. I think we've kind of dealt with that this evening, obviously, but it's going to happen. So, Shimu will be next. I just need to restock my clay, you might say. I personally like to use Craftsmart plasticine. Not sponsored, but yeah, it doesn't come in a very, very good selection, unfortunately. I usually kind of help put it in perspective. It comes in packages like this, where you're only basically given small little strips of each color. So you can see where my inventory is starting to really stack up on some colors that I just never absolutely use. I never have any black anymore, but yeah. So.
Great product.
But I just don't like what the packaging is dealing with. I would really love to have actual big chunks of normal plasticine clay bricks like this one, where I can just, get the color I need, but not everything. You sound a little disgruntled about that. This makes more money for them, right?
Lucky me. Okay, last gills. Try to get him in a little
Closer for you guys here so you can get a better view of the Godzilla. Seeing how he's basically finished at this point. Very focused. Hopefully, yeah, guys. Hopefully it's okay. Don't trust this phone anymore. It's not being used anymore. It's retired after this. Now, the important thing when you're adding things to the other side is to try and keep it obviously as even as possible.
been done. I'm probably gonna have
to look back and forth all the time, kind of slow calculated decision as I got. Okay. One thing I'll do sometimes is actually kind of just measure out the space with my fingers. If that makes any sense. So I'll place one there, just to kind of keep things even, so that way I know approximately where to start. That weird carve up motion.
Home stretch, guys.
2 more gills.
Maybe a couple.
Couple little adjustments. And I'm happy to say my legendary Godzilla will finally be finished today.
Grab that awkward area.
Yeah, Godzilla. Hopefully you don't mind.
Uh-oh.
Yes, the spikes are always kind of loosely placed in like that, so don't be concerned if they kind of just pop out. I can't force them all the way into the sculpture. That just creates too many cracking problems. As per mentioned on an earlier stream with the net keeping quarters. Kind of fell down there. Probably when I was tossing the speaker plate around. Expressing my frustration for not having the products I want. Or as much of the product as I would want.
Alright.
I cut this up and I think I'm just about ready to call it quits, guys. Get you a couple close-in glamour shots of the Godzilla.
And I think that's about it.
No more. I'll probably do some minor touches up later on, obviously. Just to kind of perfect things a little bit more. But I think it's safe to say my legendary Godzilla is finally finished. So. Get him in a slightly cool pose. And then bring you guys in for a closer shot. And yeah.
Be sure to keep your eyes peeled.
For Saturday. Hopefully there's part 3 available. We'll try to get a decent amount of rest so I can do some decent voiceover work. Got a lot to talk about. More or less some battle strategies that this Godzilla could potentially have, so a lot of that's going to correlate to future Godzilla fighting, so I definitely recommend you guys check that out.
And of course, you know, as I'm
Touching and moving him around. Messing up that skin, so I'm going to have to touch that.
Thank you. Not too bad.
Yeah, I have my concerns about the gills, but yeah, they'll last. I don't think they're going to last very long, unfortunately, but like I said,
At least I know.
I added them. So if I get one of those comments going, Legendary Godzilla has this, it's like, well, yeah, I know, but TFB.
Fix a weird gum line here. ones leave well enough alone.
Okay.
Continue with the posing.
Let me get some close-up shots.
Stop being picky. Sorry.
My worst own critic, can you tell? Just always constantly analyzing everything I do. Yeah. I think that's why they generally turn out as good as they do. Sometimes I can be a little bit pickier than I should be. Oh, Mecha Godzilla. He's been requested a few times. That, I really do like the traditional one, because I remember that kind of being like one of my first introductions to the Godzilla movie franchise. But at the same time too, the MonsterVerse version is just really, really cool. I kind of want to buy one of the Lego figure ones at some point, to be quite honest. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Have a Lego Godzilla versus my claymation Godzillas. Well, that kind of makes sense considering the Lego City is basically being completely stomped over, right? So I think it's only appropriate they make their own neck to respond to that. That's a lot of acronyms there. I'm guessing that is your favorite Godzilla, or the neck that you're referring to? I didn't know they had serial numbers like that. I just always refer to it as Mecha Godzilla. Maybe I'm a little simple in that end, but I'll openly admit I'm a little bit more of a dinosaur nerd than I am a kaiju nerd. So you guys are probably gonna have to educate me a little bit sometimes. So.
Which I'm totally okay with.
I love doing this kind of stuff because I've learned so much about monsters and dinosaurs since I've been creating these kind of things. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. Sparked an old passion. Okay. I think we're done. I think we're finally done.
At least, well
enough. Try to leave it alone, but I can't promise that.
answer a couple more.
Your guys' questions, and we'll get in some. Oh, okay, that is your favorite one. Yeah, I'm guessing the 1993 version is what you're talking about. That's kind of the more traditional Mecha Godzilla, if I recall correctly. I just loved I think it was the hands that really did it for me. I actually work with like a robotic arm full time for my normal job, so it reminded me a lot of that. Just kind of seeing it go clamp and twist around. It's just like, oh man, that is intimidating. Because I don't know. There'd be a lot of cool things a robot is capable of, doing certain weird motions that obviously biological creatures wouldn't be capable of, and I just think that'd be a really interesting concept to kind of focus on, especially for a fight, because it hasn't really been orchestrated in that sense, in my opinion, if that makes sense. Basically, I want to see the machine kind of take advantage of the abnormal capabilities that it would normally have, right? Kind of going, oh god, how are you going to get around that? So, I digress. Let's get in this close-up shots of Godzilla here.
Okay.
I think I've got to grab the camera. We'll probably do a flip around so I can actually use the nice footage. The nice camera. I don't know if it's going to actually let me. Oh, it did let me do that. Cool. I am new to this. Can you tell? This is the fancy camera for at least this hunk of junk old retired iPhone that apparently does not have a microphone very well anymore. But there's the finished product, guys. I'll probably end up massaging all those little fine lines away as I just get to the end of the night there, but yeah, this is pretty much the finished product. You'll see. Might add a little bit more flair to those nostrils, but this is my pink legendary Godzilla. Definitely looking forward to doing some animations with this character. It should be a lot of fun. Yeah, he's pretty, I mean, I still, okay, yeah, I forgot. I have to do, this is a big one. Makes a big difference. Those eyes are not clear coated right now, because I want them to shine, because that's what I've done to the teeth. It kind of gives it that saliva appearance, right? So, yeah. I appreciate you all for tuning in today, but I think I'm going to call it quits at this point of the stream, so I appreciate it. I'm happy this project is over, and now is the better time than ever to have your post notifications essentially turned on, because part 3 for this project is coming soon, so there's going to be a lot of cool glamour shots. I guarantee that. I'm probably going to be in a snowbank tomorrow, because I don't know if it feels right to unveil them in that